It's your boy, Ryan Fraser, your host, Boxing Talk Up North. What's going on, folks? It was a good weekend for boxing, man. I mean, it wasn't like high profile names, but it was good fights, you know what I mean? Like it's probably one of the better weekends we had, you know, definitely for Golden Boy, that's for sure. So shout out to Vergil Ortiz for getting the win. Obviously that fight had a lot of controversy, but it was a good fight. I'm not gonna take nothing away from that fight. It was action packed for 12 rounds. I didn't even think it was gonna go to 12 rounds just because of the way both men fight. And it delivered, man. It really delivered. It was an amazing fight. I enjoyed it. I know the fans enjoyed it. It's just one of those fights, man, that it was very, very back and forth, pleasing to the eye. Everything that happened in a boxing fight that you want to happen happened. You know, we saw dudes get clipped. We saw Vergil Ortiz face some adversity, and Serhii Bohachuck, he did what he does. He just comes straight forward, trying to mow down his opponents. And I'm gonna be honest, man. Uh, I have Serhii winning slightly, but this was one of those fights where because of the knockdowns is pretty much the reason why I think if Vergil Ortiz didn't get knocked down twice, I could say confidently that he won. But because of the two knockdowns, I believe Serhii won the fight. But at the same time, I could see why somebody is saying that he didn't, man. And really, I could also see how how people are seeing it that other way, right? Like people are seeing it that way, and I'm like, okay, I could see how some fans over here like, yeah, man, Serhii lost the fight. But at the same time, it's like, man, I don't know, but you know, it's one of those fights where the controversy is gonna stay there no matter what because of Vergil Ortiz having to get off the mat twice, and at the same time, you know, Serhii was a champ. You know, and a lot of us boxing fans think, you know, if you're gonna beat the champ, you got to take it away from him. So it's a tough fight to definitely score. Um, you know, I wish I scored it live now. Looking back on it, I'd have a better understanding of how the fight went on my cards. But as far as that, man, I don't even like people are saying 8-4 for Virgil, and I'm saying, yeah, even 8-4 with the knockouts is still a draw because the 10-8 rounds. You know what I mean? The 10-8 rounds are pivotal in boxing. Like they're huge. They're hard to come back from, and I don't think that Vergil Ortiz dominated enough of those like the end of those rounds that he was getting knocked down in to make it a 10-9 round. You know, because you got to be dominant. So it was one of those things that I was like, man, yeah, maybe Virgil came back later in the rounds, but he didn't dominate those rounds. So it's a 10-8 round. But it's definitely a fight that stirred up a bunch of controversy. Obviously, I was thinking if think of it like boxing politics was on full display, man. Before the fight, before the fight, they're talking about who? Terrence Bud Crawford facing Vergil Ortiz. They got Turkey Al Sheik there, and he's selling the fight. You know, he's talking about that's the fight he wants next. So you just got all this expectation that Vergil Ortiz is gonna come in here and look great and gonna mow check out the way, man. And that's just not what happened. That's not what we saw. You know, your eyes could tell you what happened in that fight. And Vergil Ortiz, he didn't look like this guy who was a generational talent, which is they're putting him in the class of that guy like Boots Ennis. And Boots Ennis, to his credit, still hasn't had his day, you know, where he's faced that type of guy, world level talent. So there's a lot of questions out, for Vergil Ortiz and everybody else pretty much that was saying that he was that guy who was going to keep the KO streak alive 100%. Um yeah, man, Vergil Ortiz, I don't know. He just didn't do it for me personally. I thought Serhii won the fight, like I said, slightly, and at the least, I thought it was a draw. But I didn't think Vergil did enough to win the fight. I think overcoming 10-8, you got to dominate pretty much the whole way, right? And he probably needed a knockdown, but it was a close fight. I think they should run it back, to be honest. Rematch. Shout out to Robert Garcia and Manuel Robles. They both had their guys ready for the fight. Two great coaches on each side of the ring. And man, it was a barn burner, to be honest. Like straight from the first round right out. I think it was the second round where Vergil got dropped. But like, man, those are the good fights. So I mean, we gotta see what's going on here in boxing, because like we can't have these Turkey Al-Sheikh saying he want these fights, and then these judges swaying these cards a certain way because the money's gonna be right, and we're gonna get some Turkey Al-Sheikh back end money. Like, no, it can't be like that, man. We still gotta have the integrity in the sport. If things go south and it doesn't go the way of that guy, then hey, Turkey Al-Sheikh's probably gonna say, hey, maybe you're the other guy who's winning. You're the guy I really wanted because you knocked off the guy who I thought was that guy. So, there's a lot of questions about what's next for Vergil Ortiz, man. It's gonna be interesting to see. Golden Boy, they got a lot under the hand right now. They gotta figure out how to match Vergil, basically to set him up for Crawford. Even though I just read, I think Rick Merrigan, who is Vergil's manager, said that they want that fight with Crawford next year. That's the fight Vergil wants. And I look at Vergil's age, man. Was he like 26, 27? And I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, maybe he has to take that Crawford fight just because of where he's at in his career. He hasn't fought for a big title. He hasn't fought a big money fight yet. So it's like, man, this might be do or die for Vergil Ortiz. So he might have to take this fight just on the fact that he's got to get paid some money. He's got to make a splash. And even if he goes out there against Crawford and does good, he gets another Turkey Al-Sheikh, fight maybe. So I mean, for Vergil, maybe he's looking at this opportunity like it's do or die. But I think he needs to rematch Serhii or go out and fight another top super welterweight. Which, if you're looking at this division, man, super welterweight is one of the best divisions in boxing right now. I biasly think it is the best division because that's where my brother fights at. So I'm biased with it. But if somebody said 35 or 40 is just as deeper, I wouldn't I wouldn't oppose to it because there's names there for sure. But I think 54 from like 1 to 10 is just extremely tight in the sense of who can beat who. Some people want to say it's Bud and everybody else, but I don't believe that, man. I mean, Madrimov is extremely good 54 pounder, but he may not be the best 54 pounder. We still haven't seen Jermell Charlo come back to 54. He was the guy at this division, so I want to see him back in the mix. But let me just slide over the box real quick and see who they have in their top. Like, let me go to the top 15 for super welterweight because I feel like the division is that deep that I can do that. You can't go in a lot of divisions and name the top 15 guys for top 1, 2, 3, but that super welterweight division is just that, man. It's that good. All right, so we got it here. So we'll pull it up. All right, super welterweight. So they got Terrence Crawford as 1. This is BoxRec, by the way. This is what their rankings look like. So 1 and Vergil Ortiz at 2, which is crazy because he doesn't have a title. Madrimov at 3. Sebastian Fundora, who has the WBC and WBO titles, at 4. So that's crazy, man. Tim Zhu at 5, Jermel Charlo at 6, Serhii at 7, Backroom, I think he's the IBF champ at 8, Lubin at 9, Ramos Jr. at 10. And look at 11, Charles Conwell, who fought on that Golden Boy undercard. We'll talk about him later. Brandon Adams, who's in the OTX tournament. I think he's fighting this coming weekend. Slaw Spooner, I don't know him, not familiar with him. 19-0 though. And then Xander Zayas, that's what's up. And T.Y. Kiram, damn, he's 50-1. Whoa, that's crazy. Dude has a bunch of fights. Nah, man, that's crazy. But yeah, the division is just, there's a lot of depth at 54. Like, there's a lot of fights to make at 54, which is impressive, man. Because you know, with Terrence Crawford pretty much waiting on his opponent Vergil Ortiz now, because Vergil Ortiz is gonna have to take some time off. That was a tough fight for him. There's no way he's jumping back in December. Nah, he's gotta wait till next year. Like, he took a lot of shots, took a lot of damage. He gonna need to recover. So you know, Vergil Ortiz, man, go do your thing. Make sure you guys oh yeah, go ahead, right where y'all from, where y'all listening from. I'll try to reply back to y'all. But yeah, Vergil Ortiz, I just don't think he's ready for Crawford, man. I think they need to find him another fight. Rick Merrigan, his manager, said that that's what he wants though. So it's kind of tough, right? It's like, yo, how do I talk my fighter out of fighting the best? You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy, man. Yo, shout out to Adam, bro. Adam Hurley. He said he's got Crawford over Ortiz. Me as well. How do you see that fight going? Because, like, I mean, Vergil tried to box in spots with Serhii, and then he abandoned it. So then I was like, man, like, what's this guy doing? Because I thought when he was boxing Serhii, he was actually doing better. He was landing the cleaner shots, and he was definitely looking better. That's for sure. So I was surprised that Ortiz wanted to mix it up close with Serhii because he looked better when he was jabbing, moving around the ring. But obviously you want to get respect. You know, if a guy keeps coming at you, you want to hit him with something to back him up. But it was interesting to see how Serhii was just nose forward, going one way the whole fight, man. And I don't know, man. Those Ukrainian guys, they just built different, you know. So it was an exciting fight, though. I enjoyed it, man. I thought it was a really good fight, but I just feel like Crawford, like, he'll just handle that pressure much more better than Ortiz did. You know, Ortiz didn't look that great, especially with the knockdown early. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Adam said, I think Crawford would actually knock Vergil out. All that coming forward will get a serious counter at some point. Yeah, man. I mean, Terrence Crawford is probably the best counterpuncher in boxing outside of Tank. I think Tank's probably better, especially Tank walks guys into stuff, and he's got the power to just end it. But Crawford, he's definitely a surgeon, man. Like, we saw that in the Madrimov fight. Like, Madrimov was so timid to throw. Crawford, towards the ending of the fight, when he started pushing forward, you know, Madrimov was holding on, man. He didn't know what to do. He was like, yo, I gotta grab this guy because he's slipping it and hitting, and he's right in front of me. And then Crawford he's not the type of dude to be running. You know, he's gonna make you miss, and he's pot shot, and he's right there. He's gonna return. So everything's tight, clean, and yeah, man. And he's strong because Madrimov said he has power. So we know Crawford's power has carried up to 54. I just think that Crawford's not. His stature is not big enough probably to knock out all the guys at 54. But we have to understand Vergil was also smaller too. He started at 40, so he's not a natural 54 pounder. So Crawford can probably stop Vergil if they fight, because like I said, Virgil's not a natural 54 pounder. But it'd be interesting to see if Turkey Al-Sheikh waits till February, because I think that's what Rick Merrigan was saying, that Vergil wants to come back in February to fight Crawford. So, I mean, will Crawford wait that long? I don't want him to. I don't want Crawford to wait that long. I want him to be active. But, I mean, if that's the fight they want, they might have to wait till February, because I know in December is when Turkey Al-Sheikh said he wanted Crawford back in. But, I mean, Vergil Ortiz, he took a beating in that fight, man. Let's be honest here. Both guys were hurt. But I thought Vergil Ortiz obviously getting dropped twice, flash knockdowns, but still, he was hurt. He was. So we can say whatever we want to say about that, but I saw Vergil Ortiz touch earth twice. I didn't see Serhii, touch the mat, and that means so. And he kept coming forward too, which is crazy to me. But yeah. So we'll move on down the card, man. Golden Boy, Kenneth Sims Jr. Obviously newly signee to them. Hasn't fought much in a while. Kenneth Sims Jr. Definitely one of those guys who was with the PBC, who was not getting active. Now he's with Golden Boy. I think he was supposed to fight somebody else, but like I don't know what happened, but last minute they brought a guy up. 24-hour notice to fight, and Kenneth Sims obviously got stoppage, but shout out to Oscar for getting him a fight, man. Sims, he needs to get more fights. He's definitely right there in the super lightweight division. I think he was mandatory, but like he's got other guys right in Golden Boy with him. He's got Ramirez and Barboza Jr., who I'm sure he's chasing, right? But I don't know if Oscar's gonna throw him in with those guys just yet, man. But Kenneth Sims Jr. getting back in the ring, getting a dub. That's what he needed, a stoppage. I think it was the corner that stopped it in the 5th round against Jonathan Romero, who was 35 wins and 4 losses. But like I said, he came in on very short notice. He came in on 24-hour notice, and yeah, he put up 5 rounds, man. So shout out to him, because that ain't easy to do, man. Make weight and all that other stuff just to get in there and get in there against obviously a dude who's been having a full training camp, Kenneth Sims Jr., who I believe was also in camp with Tank Davis when he was getting ready for Frank. So this guy obviously just came off the couch, man, had to do that fight, and that's how it goes sometimes, man. It's a tough business, but you waiting on that call and you get that opportunity. Sometimes you just got to take it, even if it's one of these things, man. Yeah, man. Charles Conwell, yeah, I'm gonna get into him. Don't worry. Yeah, Charles Conwell, obviously, like I've been saying, man, 154-pound division is extremely deep. And Conwell is definitely one of the guys who's not talked about enough. Charles Conwell, definitely I think he's out of Ohio. Bohachuck versus Conwell would be straight action, because both guys is punching to hurt, man. Conwell, he's one of those dudes who just be knocking people out. He's under Golden Boy. I think he's just signed with them last year, so I mean, shout out to Oscar De La Hoya. He's building the 54, a little stable there. He's got Vergil and Charles there. Both of these guys, I think, are in the top 10. And Charles Conwell, man, he's been inactive also. So I think that was his first fight in like a year or two. Let me go check right here quick. But yeah, he's 20-0, 15 KOs. And yeah, his last, oh no, he was active. Never mind, he fought in April as well. So shout out to Golden Boy for getting him 2 fights this year. But yeah, before that, he fought on that's the Devin Haney card, April 20th. Yep. But before that, Charles Conwell was out the ring for 2 years. So he's back with Golden Boy. He's already had 2 fights this year. Hopefully he can make it 3 and then really get his name in the mix with Turkey Al Sheik and what they're doing over there at Rida Season. Because I do feel like he's ready, man. He's ready for those top fights. He's definitely not a popular name to most fans, but Charles Conwell is exciting. He hits hard. He fights very, very good. He was in there with a game opponent his last fight, and he stopped dude. Carl Gray, like 18-7 now, but he was 18-6. He had 13 KOs, so he had 72% knockout ratio. I mean, dude could punch, but he didn't look like he was hurting Conwell at all. And Conwell was just straightforward, doing what he does best. Get guys out of there. I think it was the second round body shot. It was a nasty body shot, man, that he hit him with. And it was, you could just tell Conwell, he's not really there to play, man. Shout out to him. But he's definitely one of these dudes that I hope get in the mix with Turkey Al Sheik. And I would also like to see Conwell and Tim Tszyu. I think that would also be a good fight. Obviously, Tim Tszyu is trying to go get that IBF belt so he can get himself some lucrative money fights with the top guys. And I don't blame him because the division 154 is bossing me into the best division in boxing. So you want to be in the mix. You want to have some hardware, right? You want to bring something to the party, man. You just don't want to show up with nothing, or else you can't leverage your contract. So shout out to Tim Tszyu for trying to go get himself a belt. But we all know Jermell Charlo, when he gets back, will obviously have a shot at straight to the belts because I believe he's the champion in recess for the WBA. So that's what I was campaigning for. I want to see Jermell Charlo and Crawford because I don't know if y'all remember when Crawford was fighting Spence and he's beating up on Spence, he looked over at Jermell and said, "I'm coming for you next." And I was like, yo, he's doing this mid-fight with Spence, telling the next man he's coming for him. Like, that's crazy. So, I mean, shout out to Crawford, but man, I would not be doing that, playing with my food like that in there. Sander and Conwell, yo, that would be a good fight, man. Oscar and Bob, if they can make it, right? If they can make it, Oscar and Bob, these guys don't really like each other. But I think when you got Turkey Al Sheik involved, all things are possible because the money's there, right? So maybe Xander. I think Xander needs a few more fights, though. I think Xander, he needs, I don't want to say a Serhii fight, but he needs somebody who is of that like toughness, who's gonna push him. I know he had that Patrick Teixeira fight, and that was good for him, experienced guy. But I think Xander needs somebody with more resistance, who's gonna come back at him, so we can see more from Xander. I think that's what it is. I need to see more from Xander. Conwell, I think right now he beats Xander pretty easy, but yeah, Jermell and Crawford, that's the fight because you can build it up off those clips from the Spence fight. Like, you can show that stuff, that beef. You can show the whole build up. Jermell Charlo talking about Crawford. There's divisions for a reason, but now Crawford's here and he's got the belt. He's got your belt. You got to come get it back from Crawford now. Like, you could build that little storyline up, man. So shout out to them, man. I really hope that they get that fight figured out, man. They get it going. But yeah, man, shout out to everybody tuning in. I really appreciate the love, man. Drop a comment anytime you can. Shout out to Bad People. Move. The boxing glove. Shout out to you, bro. All right, we're gonna talk about I was talking about Conwell. All right, so we're gonna get into Angelo Leo. Okay, Adam Hurley says, what do you think about Canelo Crawford fight talks? Honestly, at first I wanted it, and I'm not saying because of the Majimov fight I don't want it. I actually would rather Crawford, because like, I can't be a hypocrite. What I say about Boots Ennis and him fighting Crawford, I say he's got to move up to 54 to fight Crawford because there's no point of it. So I got to keep that same energy with Crawford. So I think Crawford should move up to 68 and maybe fight somebody like Eric Bazian or Christian and Billy or Hami Mangia. Go up and beat a 68 pounder. And then you could say to Canelo, hey, look what I did at 68. Now there's no excuses. I'm here. But until then, I don't think we get that fight. Or even 60. If Crawford moves up to 60 and fights like Janabek and beats him, or one of those champions, or Carlos Adames. Yes, sir. What's going on, Remo? Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, man. You already know what it is. North side. Hey, Remo, what you think about my boy Drizzy? Is he back? But yeah, man. I think Crawford's got to move up and fight somebody in order to get the Canelo fight, because I think Canelo's just gonna use the weight thing. And I get it, man. People already saw the Jermell fight and they saw how that went. So they're like, yo, man, what's Crawford gonna do? He's smaller than Jermell. But Crawford is definitely not Jermell Charlo. I think he's a way better fighter. I think he's hungrier. I don't think he'll run in that fight. And he's smarter. So I think Crawford needs to go up and fight somebody at 68 first. Just to prove that the weight doesn't mean anything to him. And then we got no excuse from Canelo. Then he can't, he's got no. I don't even know who Canelo's gonna fight next after this Berlanga fight. Like, the 68 division is slim pickings since David Benavidez and David Morrell have left. I thought Benavidez was the biggest fight for Canelo, and Canelo, he felt like he didn't need David, so it is what it is, man. We just got to move on. Like, this is boxing, This happens too much, and it happens all the time, honestly. Happens too much, happens all the time, where we get guys just can't come to agreements for business, and ruins these big fights. But at the same time, I'm kind of like happy that 54 is the way it is right now, because I feel like Crawford honestly don't need the Canelo fight because of all the names at 54. I feel like there's a good solid like 3-4 fights for Crawford, and I would prefer him to stay at 54 and go 3-time undisputed, which is something that has never been done, and him creating more history, because that's something that not even Mr. Floyd Mayweather himself has done. He's never been undisputed once. So it's a Crawford to say I've done it 3 times. Some people gonna call me crazy, but I'm propping Crawford up as TBE if he runs that gauntlet at 154 and becomes undisputed again 3 times. I'm calling him the best ever, man, because that 54 division right now is hot. If he could beat some hot names in there, then I'm sorry, Floyd, man. Because we never seen Crawford, we never seen Floyd do this when he was like 37, knocking dudes out. So Crawford's an exciting fighter at this age, even still. But we'll have to see. Obviously. Yeah, man. Yo, there's so much work at 54. Yeah. Yep. Go down and play with Boots. Yeah, Charlo and Bud is the fight for me. I don't know why Turki Al-Sheikh hasn't even mentioned that fight. I think that's the fight right now, because Ortiz is gonna need at least 6 months. Yeah, man. He's gonna need at least 6 months. So I feel like you start calling Jermell now, so he can get back in the gym and get ready for that fight for December. And I don't know where they take it, but maybe they go to Dallas. Maybe they go to the stadium there, or maybe they bring it back to Las Vegas, do T-Mobile. Because the stadium fight, I get it, man. It's hard to sell a stadium fight. I always tell people I think Tank Davis is the only one who can sell a successful stadium fight because of how many tickets that man sells. I feel like he's like Inoue, like he's got that influence. So I feel like if you don't have that influence, it's hard. But we even saw Turki Al-Sheikh put a great card together, and still it took him having to lower the prices to get that stadium sold out. And that's unfortunate, man, because that was a good card. But it is what it is, man. Boxing is an expensive sport, and we're just living in expensive times right now. Like the economy is not very friendly to our pockets right now. Just is what it is. But yeah, man, Crawford gonna need to have a plan. Yeah, for sure. Crawford's gonna need to have a plan. And I just look at it too, like Canelo got to have a plan too, because there's not many names for him to fight unless he moves up to 75 to try to rematch Bivol, which is looks like to me is a Turkey Al Sheikh fighter also now. His last two fights have been with Saudis, so he's got to work with Turkey Al Sheikh, and we've seen how Turkey was talking about Canelo. He didn't like the way Canelo was talking, but hey, Canelo's a boss, man. He said that he gets 80% of everything. He's got that Floyd deal now where he's making money off chips, drinks. Like that's when you're a heavy hitter in boxing, when you don't care about the pay-per-view because you're making everything off of what everybody's buying in the venue. That's when you got the real deal. Oh, Canelo pay-per-view. I don't know, man. Like Edgar Berlanga, he's got the Puerto Ricans behind him, man. I hope they show up and show out. Danny Garcia, what? Ain't Rolly a pay-per-view star? That's what somebody tried to tell me once. So I mean, they should do well. I think just the funny part is like, I had all the PBC boys earlier telling me how the zone was out and the zone's not it, but last two Canelo, their biggest star, last two fights, been on pay-per-view, Amazon, and the zone. Like, man, I don't know why they just don't go over to the zone, man. Just make it one spot. Yeah. Yo, honestly, I'm yeah, man. Yeah, everybody knows Canelo's gonna win. I'm one of the fans though that's like hoping Canelo gets clipped, because I ain't never seen Canelo get like wobbled ever. Like I saw him take Triple G's biggest punch, man, and he just kept coming. So if Edgar Berlanga can somehow pull out some punch where he just catches Canelo slipping and drops Canelo, man, just to show us he's human. I mean, then everybody, you know what everybody's gonna say, right? They're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, well it could be Canelo." Like it's gonna pop back up. I think that's why Canelo, he can't slip up in any of these soft touches, because the fans are just waiting for him to slip, basically, so that they can, all the Bud fans can come running out saying, "Yeah, Bud's way better than Berlanga," but Bud ain't no 68 pounder. He ain't hitting like that, man. That's for sure. But we'll see, man. We'll see what goes on. Edgar way too green. Yo, here's the thing I like about the Edgar Berlanga fight though. If you guys remember when Edgar went free agent and Eddie Hearn came to him, Eddie Hearn said, "Yo, I'm gonna get you the Berlanga fight." And then I think it was like a year, not even a year after, it was like months after Canelo left the zone and went over to PBC. So everybody thought, oh, Berlanga's not getting the fight. Yo, shout out to Eddie Hearn for getting Berlanga the fight, even when Canelo left, man. Because, like, that's the meal ticket, bro. Not too many guys is going to get this payday. Not too many guys going to get this exposure ever. We see all the dudes chasing it. Benavidez has been chasing it for 2 years. And Edgar Berlanga, who came off a fight against some guy named McCory at the Caribbean or Morale in Orlando, Florida, 3,000 people. He sold that out. Is now going to be in the T-Mobile Arena. Probably over 16,000 people on a pay-per-view going head-to-head against the UFC in the Spirit, bro. Shout out to Berlanga for the come-up, man. And Eddie Hearn is all here for it, man. I don't like doing the whole promoter thing, but Eddie Hearn, if you ask for something, he gonna get it to you somehow, some way, eventually. Like, he gonna get you in a fight. I know Boots, he just got Boots, but at least he brought Boots home, right? Got Boots home. We saw what it was like in Philly. I think they'll go back to Philly. Great for Jaleel Hackett too. Great card to be on. Get exposure. Eddie Hearn just down for his guys like that. Get them the right stuff. Sabril Matias, another dude who signed with Eddie Hearn from PBC, brought him back home to Puerto Rico, man. Sold out the stadium, where they were at. Sold it out. And we just don't see that with the other dudes. Like, it's kind of sad. But now Turkey Al-Sheikh, I think that's why he likes Eddie Hearn, and that's why he's doing a lot of his business with Eddie Hearn, is because he sees that Eddie Hearn is moving everywhere. He's not just keeping it in Las Vegas, New York, LA. Like, he's moving around. Like, he's been to Cleveland. He's done shows in Detroit. He does shows everywhere, and I feel like boxing is a global sport. Inoue has showed us that. You know, I heard something about Canelo wants to go fight in Japan after this Berlanga fight. I don't know who's out there in Japan he's gonna fight, but it's a global sport, man. I always say Canelo got to come up to Canada and fight Christian and Billy. That's what he got to do. Forget that. You gotta come up north, bro. Yeah, go Canelo straight to the canvas. Yo, if Canelo can come and gets, like, if he even touches the ground or gets wobbled, man, I know the fans, like, that'll be the war. Like, that'll be the battle for Edgar. He'll win. He'll win the battle. Because people will say, Edgar is the first one to wobble Canelo. So he'll have a little bit of respect on his name. Yeah, man. Yeah, Hitchens too. I forgot about Hitchens. Nah, man, Eddie had a great year. Other than the 5-on-5 where they got spanked by Queensberry, Eddie had a great year. I still couldn't believe that, man. I thought at least Ray Savage was going to grab one, but I had no faith in Wilder, to be honest. I didn't. But I thought Ray Savage for sure was going to win. Amel Williams, he was just in a tough fight, bro. Hamza Shiraz is not a joke. Yeah, and Billy. Honestly, and Billy, you're right. And Billy's a better choice because Billy is a better style. Like, he's gonna make the fight look very, very entertaining against Canelo. He's an action-packed fighter. Yeah, that's true, man. And Billy would have been a better dance partner. But the problem is, like, Berlanga is more known than Billy. So I think Berlanga would generate more money. Nah, Hamza's huge, man. Hamza Shiraz. It's another dude who, I don't know how he makes 160, but he makes it comfortably. I've never heard him being hospitalized like Janabek, which is impressive because he's a very tall fighter, man. But Ammo should be back. He should be back soon, actually. But yeah, man, Angelo Leo, did y'all see that knockout, man? Knockout of the year candidate. Shout out to Angelo Leo on the top ranked card there, winning the IBF title over Lopez. Oh man, that was a nasty hook around the guard. Not even around the guard, dude just had his hand down. And just, man, the way his head hit the canvas like twice, it was like he got knocked out twice. Like that was a bad knockout, man. But shout out to Angelo Leo, who went to Pro Box. I think he's signed by Pro Box too. Did a couple fights over there, and then now he's in a world title fight. Like, man, that's why I like watching Pro Box, man. They do a great job. I think they got a card coming up. He got a card coming up, anyways, with Jarrett Hurd and Jason Rosario. That's who it is. I think they're fighting at middleweight though. But yeah, that's what it is, man. Pro Box is just an opportunity to get back in the mix. And the last two events that we've seen, the BMO Stadium Rider Season card, David Morrell fought Hot Rod, who's also from Pro Box. And then now we just seen Angelo Leo win the title, IBF title. He's also from Pro Box. So you get two, 3 solid wins on Pro Box, you're getting propelled up into some fights. So Pro Box is like, man, it's a huge platform right now. If anybody who's like in that mid tier trying to get up there, that's where you need to go. You're going to be in a good fight. Pro Box is going to put you in the top fight. They're going to put you in a dog fight. All you got to do is go in there and win it. And that's easier said than done. But at the same time, it's like, man, you get a win in Pro Box, you're probably going to get paid pretty well, your next 2 fights. So shout out to Angelo Leo for that. Knockout of the year candidate. Impressive, man. I mean, obviously he's not a guy who's very high on by a lot of people because Angelo Leo's, and like I haven't really heard much about him. But like I said, I've been watching Pro Box a lot lately. Pro Box has been putting me on a bunch of dudes, man. Like I don't know who the matchmaker is over there, but they do a tremendous job. The fights are always entertaining, and there's been very few fights that I've watched on Pro Box where I'm like, yeah, that didn't mean much. Just in the sense of like that was like I've seen a lot of dudes who are supposed to be this and that, and they face the adversity, and you either know right there, like, yeah, that guy can move to the next level, or this guy can't. Yeah, nah, yo, Remo, I've always said that, but I seen an interview with the guy who owns Pro Boxing. Apparently, he's just like he doesn't want to get with a network because he felt like networks always shit on the little guys, which he's right. He's right, they do. So he's trying to be like a guy who's creating a network for the little guys. That's his whole goal. So he's like, nah, I don't want to sit at the big boy table. He's like, I'm trying to make a table over here. And I'm with it, man. You want to create your own path and do your own thing? Go ahead, bro. Especially when you're doing it the right way, go ahead. Go do it. Cause like they're doing it the right way. They're matching fighters that are like evenly matched. At the same time, one guy needs a win, the other guy needs a win. So it's a big fight for both guys. They're not putting on fights where the outcome. A lot of those fights are like 50-50, or like they're not stacking records, man. Even their fighters, the Pro Box guys, are in tough fights. And like we've seen their guys lose. We saw Marcus Valle lose his last fight. We saw Najee Lopez. He got dropped, I think, in his last fight. He's one of their prospects. But like that's what they do. You sign up to there, you're gonna be in tough. And that's good, man. Yo, it honestly, Remo, overtime boxing disappointed me this season because they signed guys and they did what Pro Box doesn't do. They try to put their guys in with soft touches. They try to give Kurt Scooby a cherry pick and he lost, man. So like they definitely went the other way. When they didn't sign people, they were better. Overtime boxing, I'm talking about. Sorry. Overtime boxing was better when they weren't signing people and just matching guys up. Now that they have investment in money with guys, you can see that they're giving certain guys soft touches. But they have a 154-pound division tournament going on right now that is very good. So I think the guy who wins that should get an opportunity on a Turkey card. Because Turkey Al-Sheikh, he needs to get a 154-pound tournament going himself. But shout out to Overtime Boxing for doing it first. I think they're good, though. I like both. I think Pro Box is just like they do more, right? They do more shows. Like they do every other Wednesday. So two shows a month. So I mean, you a boxing fan. It's great. It's great to watch Pro Box every other Wednesday, man. Knowing that you're gonna see some good fights too. That's another good thing. But Vito Melnecki Jr., he's a top-ranked fighter now, former PBC fighter too. He called out Xander. I think that's a great in-house fight for Bob Arum to make. Vito Melnecki Jr. from New Jersey. Xander, get mad love in New York. Go ahead, go down to the Garden, go to the small theater, Hulu, and put those guys in at the main event, man. They both young, they both hungry. But obviously Xander's not way ahead, but he is more further ahead than Vito. That's for sure. So it's like one of those things, like, do we want to see it? Yeah, nah. But man, I'm with it, man. Hey, yo, I'm gonna drop the link in the chat if anybody wants to come in, burn with me. So, yeah, I was supposed to actually have a guest on today, but y'all know how it be, man. Boxers are so busy and stuff like that. So y'all know how it be, but it is what it is, man. We're gonna keep rocking out. I know that Xander, he's definitely on the come up. I think the Puerto Ricans believe in that guy. I think Edgar Berlanga, they're gonna roll with him just because he's Puerto Rican and he's in a big fight against Mexico. But Xander, that's their guy. That's definitely their guy. Well, I thought Sabril Matias was their guy too, and they showed love for Sabril. They came out, but I think Xander is just different because he's young. Obviously, he's from the motherland. That's a huge thing. So we'll see, man. We'll see what Xander's up to. We'll see what he gets going popping. But as far as that whole Top Rank situation, Top Rank, they got a lot of young guys. They got a lot of prospects. It'll be interesting to see how their next few years go, because I think that they're one of the better companies, man, set up right for the future. And that's crazy to think, because they're gonna lose Shakur Stevenson, and they still gonna be one of the better ones. So I mean, man, it is what it is. But they're just, like I said, they're set up right. They're set up. So when you're set up right, it's easy. But yeah, man, we'll have to check that out and down the road. You know what I mean? Where they're at. But as far as like Shakur Stevenson goes, man, what do y'all think about him and Zepeda? It looks like that fight's gonna be made by His Excellency. Oh man, shout out, bro. Adam Hurley, thanks for coming through, bro. Appreciate the love, appreciate the support, appreciate the interaction. We'll catch you later, man. Be back on tomorrow, 9:00. Hopefully, I'll have another guest that I possibly have set up. Actually, I should go message. I'm gonna message them after this to make sure it's all confirmed, because that'll be a very interesting show if I can get that person in. Bro, we got things to talk about and dissect, but at the same time, I don't want to keep it like that because they got big things going on. So we want to speak on positive vibes. You know what I mean? That's what it'll be. But yeah, shout out to Golden Boy. They got a couple dudes, man. They got a couple dudes. And shout out to Turkey Al Sheik. I don't know if you guys saw the whole interaction between him and Oscar there. But he basically said to Oscar, like, you got the Mexicans. We want to go down to Mexico and we want to, do some things with people down there. And that was just music to my ears, because like I think like he's right, man. He could pump some money into the Mexican economy, boxing. Bro. The people that he could bring out of there. Shout out to Turkey Al Sheik, man. He's gonna be the one. Because Mexicans, they can fight, man. So we'll see. We'll see if they go down there and do it, man. We'll see what will happen. But Oscar De La Hoya, he keeps his Golden Boy fighters going, man. Now, it may not be the prettiest matchups, but he keeps it going, man. Charles Conwell there. Yeah, man. But Canelo, Berlanga in September. They going against the Spear, man. I don't watch UFC, so I don't know what that UFC card is like. Maybe it's a stacked up card. I don't know. Somebody could tell me. But man, I just feel like the Mexicans, they're gonna be in Las Vegas to watch Canelo. They're not going to no UFC event. I don't even know who. Like, if UFC have any Mexican champions. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, one, the event is being run by people from Dubai, so I don't even know how the Mexicans gonna take that. Two, I heard it's like Sean O'Malley is the main event. I don't know who he fight. Maybe he's fighting the Mexican. Maybe he's fighting the Mexican. But like, that's another thing I was gonna say. Like, the main event guy ain't even Mexican. So like, why would the Mexicans go to that event? They one of the best. They one of the best supporters in combat sports, man. They going to the T-Mobile to watch Canelo beat on Edgar Berlanga. And it's Puerto Rico versus Mexico. Huge rivalry. So we know they want to say, I know Dana White gonna say it did X amount at the gate. It did this X amount of pay-per-views. All right, bro. He says all that, and it's just crazy to me because I know in boxing, they'll only tell you what the purses are. And they'll never tell you what the back end money is. They'll never tell you what the full money made, because the commission takes a percent. So why would I tell you what that guy made fully with the pay-per-view numbers and all that? I'm gonna obviously give you the lower number. I'm not gonna give you the high number. I'm gonna give you the low guarantee that we signed. That's what they made, so you can take your little percentage off that. And the big money, we all gonna come over here in the corner. We gonna split that. Dana White just, I like his model, but I don't like him. But he keeps it real with those reporters though. Shout out to him, man. He don't play that when they be circling around these questions with Dana White. He be on them quick. But yeah, man. Vergil Ortiz. I'm gonna wrap it up now. Shout out to him. He got a dub. I would like to see the rematch though. I think that would be better. But at the same time, if you want to move forward and get that Crawford fight, I don't blame him at all. I mean, you don't get to sign up for world title fights against a guy who's pound for pound king very often. So when the opportunity comes, sometimes you just gotta take it. I think that's where Vergil sits right now. He's just got to take that opportunity. He's gonna have to fight against one of the better guys in the division, Terrence Crawford. But at the same time, if Vergil Ortiz can go in there and impress us, then we're gonna call for him to fight other big fights. And he's gonna make a lot of money. But at the same time, if he goes in there and gets his clock clean, and it's not even competitive, then we're gonna call Vergil Ortiz a hype job. Because that's what boxing fans do, man. We don't give nobody second chances around here. It's crazy. It's really bad, man. That's the one thing I wish UFC fans, box fans was like UFC fans. I see these guys walking in the ring with 5 losses, and they still selling those stadiums. Yo, if a man has 5 losses in boxing, he's considered a bum. They don't even acknowledge you anymore. It don't matter who you lost to. You have 5, they're gonna be like, yo, if you have 2, they're saying you're mid. And boxing's criminal, man. But it is what it is, man. It's a tough sport. That's for sure. But yeah, we're gonna be back again tomorrow night, same time, 9 p.m. Hopefully my guests will come on. If not, I'll try to get a couple people jump in here with me and talk this boxing talk. But thanks everybody for coming through. Appreciate all the love, man, the interaction. Yeah, man. If you pop in, just drop where you from. I'll respond back, even if it's after the stream. Love interacting with the boxing community. And I've been in boxing my whole life. It's kind of weird because at the same time, I never really knew anybody else that was in boxing. So going to school, talking boxing with kids who don't even know what boxing is. I live in Canada, man. Everybody knows what hockey is, though. So it's cool to get up on here and talk to different people, get different perspectives on the sport, because it truly is a subjective sport. You're allowed to like what you like, and it's great, man. It's beautiful. It's poetry in motion for me. So shout out to everybody tuned in, man. I appreciate y'all. Smash the like button, and I'm gonna head on out, man. Peace.